morning, children. It's us. Hope you guys had a great spring break. Welcome back. I hope your first couple days have been great. Today's great too, right, Miss Sarah? It's a great day.
It's a great day. Late start Wednesday.
Beautiful.
Woo!
So today for SEL, we're going to talk about testing. Your guys' favorite things, our favorite things. PSAT.
Really?
We might talk about some MSTEP, but mostly we're going to talk about PSAT, MSTEP, test-taking strategies, and things you guys need to know before we go into that time. So, the one, the only, Miss Sarah.
Thank
Tell the
you.
people.
So we're going to start with our 8th grade friends who will be taking the PSAT next Wednesday.
Woo!
Make sure that you are on time for the assessment. If you come to school late next Wednesday, it's still a late start Wednesday, but if you get here later than 8:50, 9 o'clock, you will not be able to take the test. And it's very important that you're here because if you're not here, we have to do a makeup, and that's no fun for anybody because then you actually miss more than what you need to. But today in 3rd hour, during SEL time for the 8th graders, we're going to get this PSAT student guide. I want you to go through it. After you watch this video, it has some important information about what the PSAT is, why you take it. There's also some additional test-taking advice and tips, and then they also have the directions and some sample questions, so that next week when you open your booklets for the PSAT, you're familiar with the way they word things and the types of questions they ask. Just so you know, it's based on math and writing and reading for the PSAT. So you will be taking it on a Scantron, and you'll have a test booklet that looks kind of similar to this, and it's paper pencil. So
pencil.
We will provide the pencils for you, so you don't need to bring your Chromebook or anything else with you that day besides yourself. And if you bring your cell phone, Mr. Buckner is going to talk more about that, what you have to do with it that day in particular. But really, you just need to bring yourself ready to test and have a great day. This, like I said, has a lot of information about the PSAT, why we take it. One of the reasons is there's going to be some assessments you take in high school, one being the SAT. So this prepares you, again, just to kind of know what that test will look like, because we don't take a lot of tests like the PSAT anymore.
True.
And then for our 6th and 7th grade friends, and our 8th grade friends, you get to test a lot this year, sorry, 8th graders. You're going to be taking the MSTEP in a couple weeks as well. We'll obviously provide when exactly that's going to be. But everybody will take that assessment in certain subject areas. That is not paper pencil, it's online, but that's why we're all talking about testing today, because there's lots of testing that happens at the end of the year.
True.
So I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Buckner so he can talk more about some test-taking strategies, and again, some of that cell phone, cellular device, wow, that word's real hard. Some things you need to know about that for the PSAT.
That's what happens when you're old, called a cellular device. Listen, guys, so for PSAT, I want to start here. I want to reiterate what Ms. Sarah just said. The only thing that you need to bring on PSAT day is yourself. I know that everyone's going to bring their cell phones. So, cell phones have to be off. They have to be off and in the pockets, okay? Because if they go off in the middle of the test, your score may not count, and you're going to have to retake the test. And I promise you, you don't want to do that.
No.
Okay? So, has to be off, has to be in the pocket. Also, watches, any smartwatches, cannot have. Take them off. Throw them away. Don't throw them away. Your parents will be mad.
Yeah, don't throw that.
But they can't. You can't have them on. No AirPods, no headphones, no nothing. None of that. Because if you have them, your teacher's, one, going to have to take them away from you, and your test is not going to count. Okay? So that's important. Do not bring them. And if you bring your cell phone, make sure it's in the pocket.
Something else I forgot about the PSAT specifically for those 8th graders, you only have so much time for each section, and you have to take that amount of time. So for instance, I think the first section or one of the sections is 55 minutes. You have 55 minutes to take that assessment. So if you don't finish, then you don't finish. If you finish early, you have to sit there and wait until move on to the next section. So that's a little bit different than the normal testing we do, even the MSTEP or the NWA. So just to be aware of that, you have that time frame, and you have to use that time appropriately.
True.
So.
Guys, good segue. We're going to talk about some test-taking strategies. Your teachers are going to share this up on the screen when we're done, and you guys can talk about it, okay? And then maybe share some ideas. So test-taking strategies is extremely important, especially with a test like the PSAT and the MSTEP, right? I'm not going to go over all these, but I'm just going to go over a few, right? We want to read and understand all of the directions, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can't answer them properly. Also, we are going to pace ourselves. Like Miss Sayre said, you have a specific amount of time, but you have enough time to get the test done. So don't rush through it and just to get it done, because then you're not going to get the most out of it. All right. Also, make sure you check your work. If you have extra time at the end, go back through it. Make sure your answers are correct. Make sure you didn't mark a bubble on accident or anything like that. Just go back, make sure you check your work, and all these kinds of things. So you guys are going to talk about this. Your teachers have them. If you guys want a hard copy of it, come see Miss Sayre. She'll print it out for you. Or me, I guess. Okay? But this is extremely important. And if you guys have someone that you already do, or that you practice already with tests you guys take regularly at school, share them with your friends. Share them during this time where you guys are talking, so that way you guys can share ideas. Maybe you'll get some new ones, all kinds of good stuff. Okay? So, think about that. Talk about it. If you have questions, come ask us. Beautiful. Miss Sayre.
Eat a good breakfast to make sure your brain is fueled for any test that you take, but particularly for next week for those 8th graders. Yep. You will have built-in breaks to that test, so also try to avoid going to the bathroom outside of those breaks. But also, I know we're talking a lot about testing, and sometimes that can be stressful, but just take a deep breath and go into it with the attitude that you're going to do the best you can, and that's all you can really do. So go through this guide. We'll be talking more about the M-STEP, obviously, for the 6th and 7th graders in a couple weeks. And just take a deep breath, because you're going to do great.
It's going to be great.
And I think that's all we have for today.
Exactly. Make sure you smile more, because it's just important in general. And
Be
good
nice.
for testing. Mr. Medlin, hit him with some knowledge.
Be great children.
Be great children. Look at that. That's $1 million stuff. See you later.